All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our third Avazzia and consciousness experience here. Thank you for showing up. First of all, I just feel that this is such a gift we are being given as to how this amazing device is sharing. It wants to support us with our body upgrade here, with the soul DNA and the cellular DNA upgrade. So just for anybody that's watching this that isn't familiar with me, what we're doing here is we're using the device, how it is speaking to Mara and myself. And we're sharing how it's talking about itself, what it's doing, and how it can help us through this time of immense change inside of us, in every cell, every DNA, every cellular patterning is being changed inside our physical vehicle. And this is a way to support that process. So just to be clear, we're not giving medical advice. We are not, this is not an official Avazzia training video. This is for those people that have that level of awareness or consciousness that everything is truly energy and everything talks. And we're in an evolutionary process here. That means everything and everyone is having an ever greater experience of itself. And this has nothing to do with our mind. This has all to do with what I call remembering. And so just so that we can put the mind at ease, we'll invite it in here and there, but let's just take all that thinking, I have to understand this energy, and let's just lay it down next to us. Literally take your energy and go, boom, nice and safe right here. Don't worry, we will put you back on if you would like after the end of this. But that just kind of helps calm down that ego and that mind thinking brain, and the one that feels like it needs to understand this. This is to be remembered and felt. This is not something, it's not information. Okay, we're working with pure energy here as a conscious divine being, and we're remembering more. And so again, just as a quick review, the Avazzia is the way it's speaking to me and to Mara, and is that it stepped forth and said, we are here to support the ascension of the physical body. And that was a remembering, let's say it had. And I know this sounds really weird if you haven't entertained talking with things or communing with things, but it really isn't. I mean, come on, what is Beauty and the Beast showing us? Everybody talk there. So the first thing, if you haven't done, I would encourage you to connect with your device and ask, what is your name? What do you want to be called? Because to me, this is a friend. It's a helper friend that's come to help. It moved into my house and it's living with me. And so I want to create a relationship with this device. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm going to, have a name. Leslie, do you have a name for yours?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I do talk to it all the time. I'll think about it.
It wants a name, because I believe everybody else has their name, right? Yeah. So close your eyes, take a breath in. Do you have your device with you?
I do.
Just hold it and connect with it. I just do it with my hand because a lot of information comes in through the hand. And then just take a breath and ask, what's your name? And the first impulse you get, trust.
What is your name?
There, what was that?
Daisy.
Daisy, perfect, perfect. So say hi, Daisy. I'm so glad you're here.
Hello, Daisy.
Yes.
I know I'm glad you're here because I use you all the time and we're getting to be very good friends. And I'm amazed by you.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah, I really am.
So I'm going to put everybody on mute because I'm just going to kind of go, and we'll do some questions and feedback at the end. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So tonight, what has been wanting to come through. Well, first of all, our body upgrades have gone to a whole nother level. So let's breathe with that. It's accelerating. It's getting faster. Now, you can liken this to, you can either flow with the current of a stream, or you can try to swim upstream to something you've always done. And one creates resistance, one creates ease and flow. As for me, I like the flow. So that's where we're going to go. So, and again, I'm just going to review some of these things, how the Avazzia has talked to us. Obviously, I put it out in those first couple videos, but the Avazzia is really coming to teach the body how to run soul energy through the body. So the soul, we're embodying our soul essence, and that frequency is a very different frequency than our human thinking mind. How it used the body, how it worked with the body, how it moved the body. It's very different because soul energy is fast. Yay. Soul energy goes to essential, and soul energy continues to remember itself. So it's a very different operating system. And as they say, some assembly required. And so as we work with this is what we're doing. We're consciously allowing, in my case, Emerald, to show my body, no, how about this way? How about this path? And it goes, oh, well, let's try it. And it says, so it tries it. And then Emerald says, yeah, let's practice. Let's do it this route. And then Bai starts going, oh yeah, that's easy. That feels really nice. Let's do that. And then it has a new pathway, a new soul pathway of energy through the body. It can run more light. Now we are lightening up, literally. Everything is starting to run as more and more light, which means the density, or another way to say density, is illusion. Things that are illusionary in our bodies must go. And if we look at detoxing, right? I kind of shared the code for detoxing. D is the fourth letter of the alphabet. It is unity, unite, unify, but it's also leading us into the purest, the most essential, the original. So when you detox, the D is talking, detox. So it's like this unify energy starts running more fluidly through the body. And when it runs into what we call impedance or some kind of blockage, then it starts to let you know. And the bodies are talking to you mostly through pain. They actually speak through sensations, but our human is head heavy. And if you're not fully embodying and present with your body, then you miss those subtle messages, the way the body's trying to talk to you, and it has to get louder. And the loudness comes in the form of pain, because that's the only way sometimes our human will stop and pay attention. But what I'm sharing with you and this group is we don't have to go that route. It may look that way sometimes if it's old stuff, but really, the more we commune, the more we have this relationship, it's like telling somebody to take out the garbage. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Would you mind taking out the garbage? And then they get busy doing something else. And then it's like, remember your job accountability here is to take out the garbage? And then pretty soon they're like that. And then pretty soon you try to put something in, it overflows and you go, take out the garbage. So really that's what's happening with the body trying to get the human's attention. And all it wants is consciousness. It wants your awareness to focus, to commune, to feel and let go. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. So again, a couple things that have come through. The first protocol was an energy detoxing protocol. You can go back to that first video, and if you don't have the link, maybe Lauren will share those links even in the chat box here for you. But we'll have a playlist. I think there is a playlist on Heart Essential Art and Simple Alchemy in our YouTube channel. But that protocol was all lower legs. It was all about moving and detoxing the energy, pulling the energy down through the soles of our feet. Okay. Now, the last time we connected, it was more about working with the brain. And so we worked around the head, particularly the occiput of the brain. And so much is happening with the rearranging of our ascension brain, which we're receiving through this process. That is very helpful. But it also came in general. Like, let's say you don't have your cheat cards by you, don't know the protocol, do something. Don't let your human get caught up, well, I got to have this. You put the pads on your body, turn it on. It's moving energy. So if you do it for a minute, that's more than you would have. Don't get caught up in the human excuses of, I don't have time, I don't know what to do. You turn it on, let it go. That's the level of consciousness we're working with here. Everything's connected. Everything adds to everything. So even doing it for a very, very short time, you can get exponential results. So we are talking about doing, when you're still in bed, and if you have your Avazzia with you, doing it in the AM. Now, remember, I work with the codes, and AM is code. There's a code for AM and PM. We all remember this at some level. It doesn't matter what it is right now, but just know that you're also working at these deeper levels of soul. So when you wake up and you do it first thing in the morning in the AM, and you're still in bed, you're also embedding that energy. Okay? You're embedding it by doing it in your bed. So just put on the pads, turn it on. Even like I said, even if it's a minute, you're moving energy. And same with the PM at night, right before you go to your rest time, you are embedding that. So the morning AM, you're working with the magnetics of the earth, helping the body pull in earth energy and working with the magnetics of the earth, helping this body to realign its own magnetics. And then when you work with the PM, you're working with moon energy, with water, with emotional energy. So it really helps do this as within, so without thing. It helps the body to start working differently with those energies that are present here now. And after the first time you've done an AM and PM, you're now working with a bridge. You're bridging an acceleration of integration of energy. Okay? So really, if you're starting out, commit to one day doing AM and PM. Even if you don't do a protocol, moving, put the pads on, do it for a minute, whatever it takes, but get the body able to access that energy of the earth in a new way. and then also access that moon energy in a new way. And can you see you're kind of building this arc, this bridge, and then you're embedding it. And you're also, that's your divine sacred union time with you and your vehicle. I was sharing this earlier that my divine sacred partner here is my body. That is my ultimate partner here. And so the more I commune with my body, the more I work with my body's energy and listen to it and treat it and love it. Everybody knows I kiss my body. The more it wants to, we're a team, the more we work together. And that's when everything flows. And then if something isn't in alignment, that sensation comes up, I identify it right away and work with that. And then you keep going and things don't get congested and built up. Okay. So let me just look, I have a few things. Yeah, so every day you do that, then you start building this bridge to a higher vitality, more light encoded. And that actually, as you have more light come through, you start to change physically. You start to look different. You're more light comes through the eyes, comes through the skin, comes through the face. And people say, wow, you're looking younger. Well, the human loves to hear that. But, you know, it's just because, well, soul doesn't age. You know, hey, that's nice. I mean, it really doesn't age. It might have experience behind it, but it doesn't age in our human sense. So the soul comes into the body and says, this is going to happen. Basically, this energy is going to be run through the body this way. And the Avazzia says, well, then how can we do this together? Does that make sense? So the Avazzia comes, okay, well, how can we do this together? And the soul energy works with the Avazzia to teach the body the passageways of the new way of running energy. So I hope that kind of clarifies the premise of what we're doing here. But today's protocol that has come in, we're going to work with the endocrine system. Now, Trudy, I'm going to call on you. Okay, unmute yourself a minute, honey. Can you? There you go. And then just share with us Trudy's a former nurse. So from a biological perspective, what does the endocrine system do? What's its job in the 3D reality?
Well, it helps regulate a number of different body functions. It helps regulate your cardiac rate. It helps regulate your digestion. It helps regulates your cell growth. It regulates all kinds of things. Pretty much every body activity is regulated by something in the hormonal that's hormonally related.
Okay, I have a question. Does it work with the autonomic nervous system?
Yeah.
They're married, kind of, right? Yeah. They're communicators. Yeah.
Yes.
And so the autonomic nervous system, and I'm going to simplify and you can add too, Trudy, it's all those automatic functions of the body. It comes in, it works down the spine, it goes out, it talks to everything. Everything happens on this autonomic nervous system. And what happens when people aren't in alignment, when their emotions are out of balance, or when their mentality is out of balance, they have too many thoughts, or, you know, they're like, I feel stressed, I feel anxious, because there's so much energy, but it's jagged. It's trying to go down the spine in a jagged way. That's how I see it energetically. And so the person, the consciousness of the person that's in a body like that is experiencing themselves as a very unrest, very lack of ease, because it's to come in through the crown, it's to go down through our spine, and then feed the body the energy. So go ahead and share if you have something you want to add, Trudy, about the autonomic nervous system.
Oh, I don't have anything.
Okay. So do you get that? It's like all these automatic systems, like the beating of the heart, the breathing, the things that you don't consciously go, oh, it's time to breathe. I mean, sometimes we do that, but I mean, it's like, oh, it's time to digest our food. It's time, it's those automatic processes that are working in the unconscious mind.
I know, I have something.
Okay.
When people get out of balance and their autonomic nervous system gets whacked out, they're in constant fight or flight.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not okay, I won't be okay. That's eroding all their experiences, and then they're making decisions from this reactionary place, not from a centered, calm, soul-centered, calm, clear space. Okay, so it's really important to work with the autonomic nervous system in this cellular upgrade, this body upgrade, because it affects the whole body. So because it comes down the spine, we're going to work with our back. Okay. And what you're going to require today for your experience is just your two-way splitter cord. And the two-way splitter cord has a red plug-in and a black. And the red is the dispersing side. It disperses the energy. The black is the reader. It starts comparing and looking at, well, what's happening with the energy we're giving the body? Do we need to adjust this? And then it goes through the computer and says, the body didn't quite get this. Let's give it this frequency to get them there. Okay. So the sticky pads, you just plug them in together. You're going to take and put your two-way splitter cord into your Avazzia. And then hopefully I can turn around so you can see this. So where we're going to place this is about 1.5 inches or so away from the spine, down the center. And you're going to have to trust your hands. That's another part of this process. I always say hands no, because our mind will go, I want to do it right, and have all these old beliefs. But the hand just kind of goes, works with the body because it's a complete circuit and says, oh, how about here? And so you're going to come down. I don't know. I'm going to place it and then I'm going to see where body wants it. It's about right here. Okay. So I'm going to pull down my shirt there. Do you see it? How far is that down, Trudy, from my neck?
It's probably from the nape of your neck a couple of inches.
Yeah. So maybe around the C7, if you're
it's a little below C7.
So maybe, is there a C8? Or does it go into thoracic?
There's a T1 too.
Oh, T1, yeah. See, it goes into thoracic. So yeah, so right about where that thoracic starts, part of your spine, if you know the spine. And then you're going to place the other one on the other side. Now, for purposes today, we're not going to lay down, but I will share with you this protocol will heat up the body if you're laying horizontally. Why does that make sense, Trudy? You're shaking your head. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense to me. I feel like because you're lying down, your body's not erect. And so it's not expending energy trying to keep you straight up, upright.
Okay.
And so because you're horizontal, for me anyway, it supports a free flow of energy.
I feel that, the free flow of energy. So what we're going to do is just place those on. And Jennifer, who's joining us, who's going to be getting her Avazzia, what I'm going to do is energetically have you connect with your unit that is coming to you. There you go. Nice. And if you want, you can pre-ask the name. You might get a name, you may not, whatever. You might want to wait till you arrive in person. But we're going to energetically place pads on you, and you're going to receive benefit, honey, because we're all connected. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to place one pad on your right shoulder, right, just breathe, right about now. There you go. And then we're going to place the pad on the left shoulder. Now you can unmute and tell me if you experienced that.
Yes, Julie, thank you.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
It's so cool. I'm like, well, she doesn't have to be left out, you know? So
Thanks.
yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is turn on our unit, and that's just got a slide on and off button on the side. And you'll hear a little beep, it chirps and says, hi, I'm ready to work. Oh, yes. And then we're just gonna do this on relax again. Relax is the default setting that the Avazzia goes on, no matter which model you have. And in my world, I feel like that does 70 to 75% of what's required in the body. It really does. It helps calm down that autonomic nervous system. It basically comes in and greets the body and says, hi, I'm a friend, I've come to help. And the body says, oh, nice, I could use some help. So you've got a plus minus for intensity. Intensity, again, is the push, how deep it goes into the tissue. It's the push behind the wave. The frequency or the settings are the waveforms. There's different frequencies that the body's asking for. That creates a change. Everything is a vibration. Everything's a frequency. Then the intensity is the push behind the wave, how deep it's going to go in. And so all you do is plus, hold down the plus until you could get a sensation going. You'll feel a sensation. And again, I'm going to reiterate this because we can't hear this too much. More is just more. It doesn't always mean better. Okay. So you just get it to that threshold where you're starting to experience a sensation. And now we're just going to close our eyes. And we're just going to say the words balance. Balance. And then when you affirm balance, notice what happens inside. Notice the sensation. How does your body talk? How does it respond to your voice, your command, if you will? Now, I'm going to just share with you what I'm noticing. As I'm doing this and I'm saying balance, I felt something a little bit out of balance on this left side. And almost immediately, the body self-corrected. Balance. Balance. And once you feel like the energy's moving, remember, this doesn't have to take a lot of time. We're going to add something to this balance word. We're going to say hormonal balance. Hormonal balance. Hormonal balance. Now, I felt something happen in my throat, probably with the thyroid, right? The thyroid is a big hormonal balancing thing. And I also felt something go up into my head, probably working with parts of the brain that are responsible for balancing hormones. Hormonal balance. Hormonal balance. Hormonal balance. And good, Lauren. If the body kind of wants to move to start working its way into this new pathway of energy, let body do what it does. It might want to just slightly have some neck movements because the energy is going to be coming down through the neck differently. And I'm really feeling rearranging the throat. Remember, as a soul being, our bodies, inside the body holds the memory of all this soul has ever experienced. It's the wisdom keeper. And so remember, a lot of us our throat chakras were traumatized or shut down. And so I feel like this is also just opening up that throat chakra, our truth chakra, so we can freely feel free to express our truth in a clear way, unapologetically. And now what's coming in is to just say, trust. Trust. Now I'm getting all kinds of sensations in my head, which is interesting. It's I can feel all these little circuitry things that are rearranging themselves. Trust. Trust, balance. Trust, balance. Trust, balance. Now, when I started saying that, for me, the energy started grounding all the way through the soles of my feet. And how I'm experiencing my energy now, it's like a lot more solid and stable. It's like some of those jagged things that were kind of misaligned, they're just kind of all smoothed out. So let's all have some water, because every time we're putting the energy to our body, we are detoxing, but also electricity runs via water. You must have water for it to move. Now, there's a water out there that has come to me, and maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't, but it's called Flow. Has anybody seen this? No. Okay. You can pick it up at Target now. They're carrying it there, and it has different flavors. So this one actually it's strawberry rose. So you got the codes of the clock with Flow in water. And water the ions of the water have changed to support the body in ascending. Water is really doing something very, very differently. And it too really wants us to commune with it, add our consciousness to the water, add our appreciation to it, add our conversation. So when you drink water, you can say, thank you, water, and exponentially bless and expand this body into the remembering of the original, for instance, or whatever's there. So, but this is wow, this is a vibe. This is a vibe, this water. It really works well. So it has a bunch of different flavors. So I'm going to unmute people, or you can unmute yourself because I never really muted you. Interesting. And I just kind of want to hear some feedback of what you experienced with this very simple protocol, but I feel very profound. So Trudy, why don't you start since you got your mic off?
Well, I didn't notice so much stuff going on in my throat, but what I noticed was I feel like that adrenaline rush I had when I first joined just went smoothed itself out. I feel much more centered and grounded. I don't have that sort of jittery, like I had 5 cups of caffeinated coffee feeling that I had earlier. The irregular heartbeat sensation I had initially, which I have not experienced in a really long time. So I was feeling kind of surprised by that. That's all dissipated and come back into balance. So I feel like all the parts are gathered up and lined up.
Nice. Yeah, I feel that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Who wants to share next? Lauren, would you like to?
Yeah. So as we were going through like the different stages, I could feel different, my brain. And then I don't know if what's back here, but something was back there. And then when we got to the final stage of trust the balance, it was like taking screenshots of like, here's the new flow of it, like remembering it.
Nice, nice. And remember, everybody has their own unique experience. And we share our unique experience so that if it matches up with somebody else's, you can go, wow, that worked. That was, I maybe didn't have words to it, but that's what was going on for me too. It's just to support our remembering. So we're not feeling alone in this process, even though we do this by ourselves. So thank you. Thank you, Lauren. Leslie, let's hear from you. This is your first time you were able to join us. So you gotta take your mic off. Oh, she did her camera. Let's see if we can get her. Okay, you got your video. We can see you, but how about the hearing? The mic?
There we go. Got it.
There you go.
This first timer, I didn't know where to look for it. First of all, I don't have a splitter cord,
Okay.
so I just used my wand and did that instead. And put that in the place on the back where you were talking about. And I did feel the throat opening up because that was real clear right away. As soon as you said it, I thought, oh yeah, there we are. And I'm there too. And what else was there? That's all I know for now.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Linda, how about you?
Initially I felt a sort of a balancing of the brain.
Okay.
And after a few moments, I could actually feel that energy flowing down to the bottom of my feet. But I thought it was interesting when we started speaking trust and balance. It was like I could see in my brain there was a signal that was starting in the center of the brain and moving out and starting again and moving out. And I could really feel that. And it sort of really cleared a lot. It's just like it cleared my brain out, I thought.
Oh, wow. I feel that. Yeah.
It seemed like it was much more clear and I was much more relaxed. So definitely I felt that rebalancing, and it was wonderful.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And Sue, let's hear from you.
Okay. Yeah, initially, I mean, it was more localized, just where the pads were. I could feel it expand and spread out just from that area all the way down. I did a lot of yawning. I found that interesting. I was yawning and I'm not sure what that is, if that's the throat or if that's whatever that is. Yeah,
And
so
sometimes that can just be your vibration is so shifting.
it's just, okay.
By
Okay.
looking for more oxygen to move.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
That was nice.
Thank you. And let's hear from Jennifer, even though this is she's just very new to this, but, and she got her energetic treatment. What did you notice, Jennifer?
Yes, what I noticed is at first there was this really kind of strong throbbing on my left foot, on the right inside part of my left foot. It lasted for about half of the session.
Okay.
I just kind of let that throb, like it was moving something, releasing
Right.
something, and then it released. And then when you mentioned the throat thing, I also had something going at the throat, and I like opened my mouth to make a noise just to kind of like release something. So
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah.
But, and thank you for showing up and demonstrating that how connected we all are. Now, I will say Jennifer's part of another soul sync up group that we do. So she's really familiar with all our soul energy. So it was really easy for her to just to sink in. Like, ooh, I feel that. So thank you. Thank you. So as far as, I mean, can you imagine how this might move energy even laying down? I mean, this is how much energy moved us sitting up, but there is a different way the body will run. It's kind of like you're running with the earth, I guess, laying down, and you might experience heat, you might experience all kinds of different sensations, but it'll be fascinating for people to share how their experiences in the other position. So I hope this helped and blessed you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. And remember, as one rises, we all do. So, when we focus on us, it does a lot. Heart hugs, everybody. Bye.
You.
Bye.
Yeah.